Good morning all, bright and early Sunday morning, snippet number 11, how light affects health and cognitive performance today. So I've talked about it in the past about cognitive performance and with specific regard to cognitive performance and daylight, anxiety levels, daylight, depression, etc., and how important that is. So I'm not going to go into that in any detail today. What we're going to look at is specifically photobiomodulation, and a paper that was published last week it was a review paper, so it looked at all the available data, all the available research that is currently out there, and summed it up and came to a conclusion that transcranial photobiomodulation, i.e. through the skull, intranasal, is very beneficial for cognitive improvement. Now, whether we're talking about cognitive improvement in terms of slowing down or halting the progression of something, for example, Alzheimer's or dementia, whether we're talking about the actual healing process from stroke or traumatic brain injury, or, as I mentioned at some point last year, the potential improvements in day-to-day cognitive performance of general people like you or I. They've all shown positive influences after photobiomodulation, which is absolutely amazing if you think about it. If you think that light and getting enough light, whether we're talking about, as I say, whether we're talking about daylight in general in terms of anxiety and stress, depression, etc., getting out and getting daylight, setting their circadian rhythms, and also helping your melatonin levels, which actually help the quality of your sleep, which improves brain health in that way, or whether we're talking about, like in this case, transcranial or intranasal photobiomodulation and improvements in synaptic firing or whatever. The brilliant thing is light seems to work. Now, this research paper came to that conclusion and basically said, look, there's so much positive about photobiomodulation and cognitive health that we need to investigate it more. We absolutely need to investigate it more. We've got a good amount of research, but we need to investigate it with larger trials. These are small trials that have happened so far. And of course, so they said about all the positives that happen with regards to like localized blood flow, synaptic firing patterns, were all positively impacted by red light through the skull or up the nose, but also the lack of any side effects. Again, and side effects are in the media a lot with regards to certain things at the moment. So the lack of any side effects, as well as all the positive upside, means that you've really got to seriously look at that if you know someone or if you are concerned about cognitive decline yourself. Now, is it a foregone conclusion and is it set in stone? No, of course not. I would always recommend that everybody does their own research. Do your own research. But the initial findings, and so when I say initial findings, the findings thus far are so positive, and they lack any side effects. They lack side effects, and they are massively positive. So again, whether we're talking about dementia, whether we're talking about cognitive decline in another area, Alzheimer's, whether we're talking about traumatic brain injury, stroke recovery, or whether we're talking about just day-to-day cognitive function, they've all been shown to be improved with the addition of light therapy. So, if you are someone that is interested in light therapy and cognitive function, either for yourself or someone you know, then do your own research, or contact me and I will point you in the right direction. I will point you in the direction to research papers, etc., which will explain the things to a greater detail. Have a great day. Get enough light.